The title of the film we have created and the practical exercise is another one. It is a hybrid which consists of the crime and drama genres. Personally, I believe that our film is in line with the conventions associated with them. To illustrate this, we followed a common set design. Within crime films, there is usually police tape in order to represent that there is an active crime scene. This element was copied from the two films that I have researched, which was Seven and Prisoners, and as a result, it made our crime scene more authentic. A second element that follows the conventions of this genre is the location. You see, my film was set in the woods, creating a mysterious and isolated environment. This is shown in Mystic River. We also follow conventions with props, such as making sure that the detective was using a phone on the crime scene, as seen in Prisoners, explaining to someone else what they have just witnessed. We as a group believe that this is an important convention to follow, as through doing this, the audience would become more informed about the crime scene, and as a result, they'll be able to come to a conclusion about what happened, answering the questions they may have had. In addition, we also follow conventions when it came to sound. The non-diegetic sound in our film was very calm, something like a cello. This is shown in both crime and drama films, especially in Mystic River when it came to the police as they arrived at the crime scene discovering a dead body. We also conform with conventions through the use of camera, more specifically through the use of a pan. We use the pan to pan across the victim's dead body in order to grab the audience's attention, and this is shown in both Mystic River and Seven. The use of such acts allows the audience the extent of such violence the victim suffered. Finally, we also follow conventions through the use of makeup as we aim to make the victim look dead. This included making sure her eyes were open to give a more gruesome look, and finally, we made her look as if she was strangled. In addition to this, we also followed conventions when it came down to the character's attire. Firstly, starting off with the male detective. He was wearing a suit, to be more specific, a two-piece suit, which made him look very smart. This was shown in both three of the films we have analysed, which included Mystic River, Seven, and Prisoner. And finally, forensics looked the part. They wore a white suit with face masks and gloves. A very important convention that we also used in our film is the narrative. You see, the scene begins with the crime scene and then investigation follows through afterwards. And this convention is specifically shown in both Mystic River and Seven. Through this, it will create an enigma code which will have the audience hooked. Throughout our media product, another one, there is a representation of various social groups. For example, the area of age was displayed in a stereotypical fashion. The victim in our product was around the ages of 14 to 15, and we aimed to represent her in a stereotypical way. And through the dialogue, we tried to establish that she went on a night out without her parents knowing and was brutally murdered. As a result, we hoped that the audience picked up on a stereotype of young people being naive, as sensible adults wouldn't go into the woods with a stranger. Throughout my film opening, there are areas where females are being represented stereotypically. Firstly, Detective Simran is the only female on the crime scene except the dead victim, and this plays into the stereotype of it being a male-dominated profession. I also aim to portray a hierarchy with the female being at the bottom, which falls into the stereotype of females not outshining men and being submissive, as the senior detective on the crime scene was also a male, and in addition to that point, the most senior officer, which was the constable, was also a male. However, while on one hand there are some stereotypical parts, we also try to portray her as a countertype. Firstly, as the film opening begins, she is being prepped verbally about what she's going to see by Detective Osman. However, she replied that she was experienced, and automatically she goes against the stereotype of women not knowing what they're doing. In addition to that, she took a lead role in the crime scene, and this is shown through her actions such as handling the body and finding crucial pieces of evidence that will link this specific murder to a possible serial killer. In our media product, another one, there is a representation of ethnicity. With Detective Osman being a black male, he is portrayed as a countertype. This is because he is not a thug, he's actually a detective. And this goes against what the stereotypical black man is, as they are expected to run away from the police and not be the one who is doing the chasing. However, while there is a countertype evident, there could also be a stereotypical element. For example, the boss is white, and this could show the stereotype for white people being in higher positions than black individuals. And moving on, both the females on the crime scene were of Asian ethnicity, and this helped our film as it allowed Detective Simran to connect with her on a cultural level, and this is shown through her dialogue with lines such as, "I wouldn't be surprised if her parents didn't know about her whereabouts," and let's just say her attire isn't very culture friendly. Without the similarities between the two, we would be unable to come to a conclusion about the victim's character. The company we would like to distribute our film Another One is Warner Brother Pictures. an American company owned by the media conglomerate Time Warner. The first reason I drifted toward Warner Brothers for our chosen distribution company was that they distributed 2 out of the 3 films I researched, which were Prisoners, which was released in 2013, and Mystic River, which was released in 2003. Both of these films follow the same genre of our film, which was crime and drama, and have had a successful time at the box office, with Prisoners bringing in $122 million at the box office, and as a result of this, we thought it would be suitable for Warner Bros. Pictures to distribute our film. However, the main reason I came to a decision about Warner Bros. Pictures distributing our film was about what they could offer. Being founded in 1923 and being in the business for 93 years, they built a reputable brand which would be an advantage to us, as it would create a media craze and people would be watching our film purely on the basis that Warner Brothers distributed it. This would be great, as it would allow for a whole new audience to come in that we haven't thought of.